Hello, welcome. Welcome back to another episode. Uh, Today we're doing literary talk number 3. Yes. And today what I have for you is Burning Chrome by William Gibson. Probably like a one of the sci-fi the cyberpunk, like one of the best cyberpunk writers ever, or something like that. I don't know. He's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I pretty much enjoyed it, but towards the end, I was kind of like waiting for it to finish because I felt like I got the gist of it. See, like the thing is, like cyberpunk is not supposed to be. Cyberpunk is basically you just have to watch Tetsuo, the Iron Man, and there's some other ones that I found on a torrent on the torrent board on 4chan. There's a bunch on there. But I don't like you can probably find the archive of it, but it's not supposed to be like hyper textualized. It's not supposed to be bright and colorful and all these like random things like Cyberpunk 2077. Even though like the cover, like I saw the cover for it and I was like, yeah, this is like new Cyberpunk, This is like a modern day Cyberpunk. It isn't like original, not like Tetsuo, because it's supposed to be like super like um desperate, super like dowry, like really depressing. Like you don't. This isn't like a world that you want to be in. It's supposed to be something like that. But I wrote down some notes. I didn't write much because it's my first book by him. But if you guys remember in the first literary talk, I tried emphasizing how important it is to have a relationship with books because as you grow, the information becomes new, right? I'm not gonna repeat the whole spiel again, but I will tell you something, and I will brag about this because I know my intuition is on the right path. Okay, because if you guys remember, I was like, oh, Isaac Asimov and Robert Heinlein and Arthur C. Clarke, they're like the best ever. Like they're like the best writers that you could think of, right? So then I get Burning Chrome, and I'm like, I don't want to read this fucking preface because I just hate reading prefaces. You guys know this. By the way, sidebar, because I fucking forgot. Here's my Japanese homework. I'm practicing hiragana. I know it's bad. Tell me it's bad. Tell me I need to redo them again, please. Anyways, so I didn't read the preface, but then I read the introduction by him, and he just flat out it's like he heard me, right? He's like, yeah, Isaac Asimov, man, those guys suck. Here's some real. So he recommended, well, he didn't recommend them, but he basically stated that his big three were Fritz Leiber, Alfred Bester, and Robert Sheckley. I did a little bit of digging. When I looked up Leiber, I noticed that he was sort of in the same vein as Michael Moorcock. And he has some good. I haven't read any of his stuff, but I've seen like I want to. But Leiber made. Sorry if I butcher this. Farid and the Gray Mouser. Damn, I really need to work on my writing. um, and then Robert Sheckley. I actually remember reading his name alongside other uh, sci-fi art writers. So, and then Alfred Bester. He wrote, I've heard of this, The Star is My Destination. And back then I was like, fuck, this title is really fruity, but I was looking at it over again and I read on Google, because I use Google. Google, you just have to ask it like basic, super basic questions and it'll like tell you what you need to know. Um, but yeah, it said that it was based on the Count of Monte Cristo, and that's one book that I want to read in the future. So now that we got that out of the way and we know where he's coming from, I'll just read what I wrote because I wrote it as I was reading it. I love how nonchalantly, how seamlessly the cyberpunk tones and themes weave into his vocabulary. It's almost second nature. The imagery is super grotesque but adult. more informal than its predecessors. I don't know why I wrote that. It's extremely downer, but the thing is that he's really knowledgeable about society. That like it's so like it still partly holds up today. I feel like he embraces absurdity, but not in like the fun, wacky, like oh like ha 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 like it's like more like chains and whips, like leather type of absurdity, like again like it's a place that you don't want to be in. You know, like it's not supposed to be like oh like I want to come here. Like no, like um it's as though he really lived. It's as though he has really lived through it all because there's a lot of things that like only a crackhead would know, or like you know he's been places. And I like that his writing style is really similar to Ginsberg. His Howl, the Howl that he wrote, is very similar in terms of like, oh, it's like super like realistic depressionism, realistic depressionism. Um, he's got the same gross, apt descriptions of things, which is like, which is like, which is Gibson's like strength. Like he has a really good ability to like give apt descriptions of stuff, but the takeaway from that is that it turns more into moments and like experiences instead of like it being a story. So it's kind of like you're left in the trails of his imagery, and then you're kind of you keep reading and you're like, well, where is this going? You know, like, and I thought maybe it's because the order was wrong, but all of it's like, but that's not to say that like the imagery isn't striking. You know, that's not to say that oh it's boring. It's not boring. It's like really fascinating. I just wish that this was my introduction to cyberpunk over. I mean, Tetsuo is a good one. Tetsuo was a very good introduction. It's a very good movie too. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. Yeah, sure. And then yeah, that's basically it. I liked it. I think I might like Neuromancer more or something else. But yeah, I wanted to keep this video shorter because I don't want to babble on too much. I think the next book we are going to read. I might do a brothers Karamazov one, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see where my dowsing stick takes me next. You know, because Gibson, because like I said, probably the star's my destination. To be honest. Anyways, thank you for watching. Have a great day.